What's going on? It's Eric or Spooky here, and today we are doing a top 10 Call of Duty rankings. I've been excited to make this video for quite some time now. As someone who grew up in the golden era of Call of Duty, I've been really looking forward to making this list, so I hope you guys enjoy. Leave your top 10 down in the comments. Feel free to let me know your opinion on mine. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. This is just how I feel. You know, some people are going to see some CODs and certain spots on the list. They're going to wonder how they even got on the list in the first place. So I say that. I think the list is valid. We'll have to see. Please watch and enjoy. Coming in at number 10. We have Modern Warfare 2019. This Call of Duty was a pretty good Call of Duty, honestly. I liked it a lot. Had a lot of great memories on it. It was the COVID Call of Duty. This Call of Duty dropped and then COVID happened. This is the COD we sat in the house for a year and played. So the search and destroy memories on this game were amazing. Search and destroy on this game was top tier. They introduced gunfight into this game, which the 2v2 gunfight. I believe they had maybe for a period of time a 1v1 and a 3v3 mode, but I know for sure they had the 2v2 gunfight mode. I would play it for hours, countless hours. The maps were okay. They weren't the best of all time, but they weren't the worst of all time either. And last but not least, certainly not least, Warzone. They introduced Warzone in Call of Duty, and it was amazing. It was great. There was countless hours played of Warzone, countless memories on Warzone. Warzone 1 was great. Good enough to make it to my top 10. Alright, and now, number 9, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 is a Call of Duty that I like to refer to as the last of the golden era. In my opinion anyways, because everything post Black Ops 4 was kind of like the downward spiral of Call of Duty. Honestly, Modern Warfare 2019 is kind of where the downward spiral happened, in my opinion. But everything pre-Black Ops 4 was absolute cinema. Except for Infinite Warfare. We don't speak of that game. It had great multiplayer. The zombies was honestly pretty solid. They had the two different storylines. A lot of people really wasn't, they weren't too keen on the Black Ops 4 zombies, but I enjoyed it. I think it was pretty good. I think it had some solid maps. I think it was overall okay. And then a big thing. Big reason, big overlooked, big overhated, and very slept on attribute to this game, Blackout. Now I know a lot of people are going to say Blackout was not good and it's it was kind of horrible and this and that, and I understand that, but they were just trying to rush out a battle royale during that time to compete with Fortnite, and everyone knows that. In my personal opinion, if Blackout would have had the time and the love that Warzone was shown over those couple of years Warzone was in development versus the possibly less than a year that Blackout was in development, I feel like if Blackout had the love that Warzone did, I believe that it would be just as good, if not better, than Warzone was. And that's just my personal opinion. The map on Blackout was phenomenal. The weapons in Blackout were phenomenal. Who doesn't like all those old spots from the old Call of Duties, the old multiplayer maps all compiled into one? The old Black Ops maps, everyone loves those. Blackout had a lot more time in development. I think that it could have been so far superior or just as good as Warzone was. Moving to number 8, Call of Duty World War II. I've never really talked to many people, honestly, about their opinions on this game. From the most part, I know most of my buddies, they loved it. Most of my family loved it. I loved this Call of Duty. They introduced the Call of Duty HQ, which was, your headquarters, kind of like your base. You could be there with, many different people from all across online, in your little hub. Interact with players. You could prestige. You could open supply crates. You could do so many things in the HQ. I think it was pretty cool. You walked around in third person. You got to see your outfit that you had on. I think it was pretty solid. The sniping on this game was amazing. The weapons on this game were actually really good. I think they were some of the best weapons that we had in Call of Duties during that little period of time there. The supply crates were a big thing for me. I loved opening supply crates. They're kind of nostalgic now due to microtransactions everywhere. Horrible microtransactions. But nonetheless, it was a great Call of Duty. Great system, great multiplayer system, great movement, just all around great COD. Without further ado, number 7. Before we go to number 7, keep the hateful comments at home. Keep them out of here, because this is a very controversial one. Very controversial one. Actually, 6 and 7. Forget I did that. But 6 and 7 are very controversial. I think they're very controversial anyways. Actually, I know they're very controversial. But who cares? They made my list. They made my top 10. Have my reasons. But they're both overhated. I'm going to say that. Number 7. I know. It's Call of Duty Ghosts. I know. Ghosts, nonetheless, to me, it was a great game. Brings back a lot of memories. It's very nostalgic to me. Campaign on this game was quite legendary, honestly. It was a great campaign, great storyline, great ending. Cliffhanger ending, by the way, if you've never played it. The multiplayer was really clean to me, honestly. I loved the weapons on this game. I loved the DLCs. They had the Snoop Dogg and the Drill Sergeant, you know, the DLC, you know, commentators that you could get. Those were great. The Ripper, one of my favorite Call of Duty weapons of all time. The Ripper, you could turn it into an assault rifle or an SMG mid-battle. It was great. It was really cool. Extinction, honestly, was great. I think it was a little overhated, a little overlooked. Zombies was just so big in that time. They were popping. But who can blame that reason, I guess, because Zombies was peak during that time, and it was hard to follow up Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 2 Zombies with Ghosts and Extinction. So that's another reason Ghosts got a lot of hate. Obviously, it was following up Black Ops 2. You know, that's pretty self-explanatory. So it was great Call of Duty in my opinion. I think it was very overhated. All around overhated. Very overhated. Number 6, we have...
Oh, brother, this guy
Let me hear it. Let me have it. I know. Boo, 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 his list is horrible. Yeah, I know. I knew I was going to hear that. No, I'm going to hear that. Don't care. Love Ghosts. Love Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare, I was freshman in high school during that time. Call of Duty was really just absolutely popping at this time. After the generational run that they had with all the games before it. You know, the exosuits were very hated on. The jump packs, you know, I guess very hated on. I loved them. This game introduced supply drops to Call of Duty, and those were so addicting. The weapons that you could get in Advanced Warfare, you know, the Morse, you know, trying to find different variants for the ASM-1, for the Morse. Those were peak times trying to open those supply drops and find those. And when you did open those supply drops, it was possibly one of the most largest hits of dopamine you could ever get from a video game when you got what you were looking for in those supply drops. The multiplayer was phenomenal to me. Campaign was also phenomenal. Campaign was actually really good in Advanced Warfare. I think this game was all around overhated and very slept on due to it having exosuits in it. The trick shotting in this game was peak. It was amazing. Loved watching montages and videos of this. Loved watching Six Mans. Loved all of it. You know, this game was very, very special to me in many different ways and had to make the top 10. Honestly wanted to put it higher, but it's kind of hard to put it over the Call of Duties that are in front of it. So number 5, top 5, baby. Kicking it off right in the top 5. Modern Warfare 2, OG Modern Warfare 2. This game right here, you know, it speaks for itself, speaks volumes. A lot of people are probably going to be disappointed that I have it at 5 and not higher, but I have my reasons for having the other Call of Duties higher than this, the ones that are higher than this. This game has a 10 out of 10 campaign. Yes, it's a 10 out of 10 campaign. We all quite literally got and witnessed the most crazy betrayal in a video game of all time when we were kids. Should I remind you?
have the DSL. You got it, sir? Good. That's one less loose end.
The sniping and the trick shotting in this game were amazing. They were awesome. The intervention speaks volumes alone. It's a very nostalgic weapon. Very great sniper. Believe it or not, it's not my favorite sniper of all time in Call of Duty, but that's another topic for another day. The maps in this game were amazing. They were amazing. They're very nostalgic too. They hit hard when you see them now. Coming in at number 4, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was a great Call of Duty in many different ways. The campaign on this game was, you know, it was alright. It was, I guess, more or less a one of the co-op driven story things that they had going on. Definitely doesn't come anywhere near the other Black Ops games at all in terms of great campaigns, but nonetheless, it was okay. It was alright. The multiplayer on this game was super fun. And a lot of people hated them. They hated jumping Call of Duties, and that's fine. A lot of people did. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people hated it, but I loved it. So the weapons in this game were phenomenal. The sniping was amazing, and of course, cannot forget it. It's potentially the greatest iteration of zombies that we've ever had. Amazing all around. Gobblegums, they were awesome. The maps on this game were phenomenal. Easter eggs were top tier. Chronicles speaks for itself, speaks volumes. We'll say one downside I had with Chronicles was I wish they would have included the Black Ops 2 Zombies crew and included some of their maps maybe. Nonetheless, still a great set of maps. All the iconic maps from World at War and Black Ops 1, all great maps. This game was peak for its time. Honestly, it was peak. I do think that the jetpacks were a little overhated from this and Advanced Warfare, but they got rid of it, so everyone, you should be happy. I wouldn't mind them if they remastered these games exactly how they were. I'd buy them and play them again. So coming in at number 3, The OG Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 cinema. Absolute cinema this game was. Campaign in this was, it's the second greatest Call of Duty campaign of all time in my opinion. Honestly, the whole Modern Warfare campaign storyline back then was peak, but this one in particular is my favorite. Loved everything about Modern Warfare 3. I loved the multiplayer. The multiplayer was peak. It's one of my favorite early Call of Duty multiplayers. The sniping in this game was awesome. Loved the MSR. Loved everything about the Barrett 50 cal. I loved all the weapons in this game. I loved the prestige system, camos for the weapons. Obviously everyone knows that the old Call of Duties have awesome camos, awesome camo packs. Survival in this game was actually really fun. It was actually a nice substitute for not having zombies, due to that obviously being a Black Ops and Treyarch thing. It was a great substitute, especially back then. If you didn't have Wi-Fi, you were playing offline. Like me and my brother used to play survival offline all the time to kill time. I mean, it was amazing. It was fun. This game had to be in my top 3. Wanted to make it a two-way tie for number 2, but I guess there's just a extra reason or two why I put it at 3 and let number 2 be number 2. And without further ado, number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 1, an absolute masterpiece of a Call of Duty, an absolute masterpiece of a game, an absolute masterpiece of a campaign. This game is the number 1 greatest Call of Duty campaign of all time, in my personal opinion, but I think that should be everyone's opinion. The storyline to it is absolutely phenomenal. The multiplayer in this game was peak. The music from this game is so nostalgic and so awesome. Like, we just don't have that in Call of Duty anymore. Like the multiplayer music when you load in and you're just sitting there waiting to start the game. Or when you load up a game of zombies and you're just sitting in the zombies menu like... And yeah, that all sums it up there. That this game is just, it's nothing short of amazing, nothing short of a perfect Call of Duty. Couldn't have asked for any more from this game. The prestige system was amazing. Camos in this game were also awesome. Without further ado, can I get a drum roll? Nah, we won't do a drum roll. Everyone knows what it is. You have to know what it is, especially by this point. If you haven't used your context clues and what's not on the list and what you haven't seen in the bottom down here, you know what's at number 1. Everyone knows what's at number 1. And ladies and gentlemen, it is Black Ops 2, baby. Has to be Black Ops 2. This right here is the epitome of a perfect Call of Duty. This right here is the best all around and every form, every game mode, the best Call of Duty. Obviously, just as a well-rounded Call of Duty in that sense, you know what I'm saying? As far as just an overall great Call of Duty, 10 out of 10 in all 3 categories, this is what this game is. The Black Ops 2 campaign, to me, it isn't better than the first, Black Ops campaign, but it is still a great 10 out of 10 campaign. So you're playing in the 2025 era, then you're playing back in the day in Woods and Mason's era. Raul Menendez is a peak antagonist for a video game. He's gonna go down as a great. I like what they did with him and his storyline. The multiplayer in this game was easily one of the most influential Call of Duty multiplayers to the content community, to the player community, and just to Call of Duty as a whole. It's the most influential by far. And the maps in this game were top tier. Just the base maps before DLCs were even introduced. The base maps in this game were top tier. The DLC map packs were easily the best DLCs of all Call of Duties. The maps that were included in the DLCs in this game were phenomenal. They were amazing. The camos, everyone knows that they used to beg their mother to get $5 to go buy 2 of these camos on Call of Duty Black Ops 2 all the time, because they were all peak and they were all cheap and you bought them once and you had them forever. There was, I guess you'd say, microtransactions back then, but they weren't microtransactions by any means. It was, they released a certain amount of camos back then and you either bought them or you didn't. And that was it. They were a base price, nothing outrageous. We all went and asked our parents for $5, $10 to go buy camos on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Everyone did it. The zombies in this game. The zombies was 20 out of 10. Amazing. The maps on this game were awesome. The Easter eggs for the zombies on this game were awesome. Transit, amazing. Great base launch map. Honestly, for a new Call of Duty with new zombies, it was an amazing first map. I loved it. I loved everything about the storyline and how that storyline and how those characters played into our original crew. This game just all around deserves, to be at the top. How could you not put this game at your #1 Call of Duty of all time when you've got memories like this? Or like this.
Stay behind the yellow lines at all times, or you'll be sorry.
Or this. There's many, 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 many reasons why this could, should, and would, and is my #1 Call of Duty of all time, and why it's probably a lot of people's #1 Call of Duty of all time. There were so many people that just started to come up in Call of Duty. So many people were introduced to Call of Duty with this game. It's a great game to start out on, and it was a great game to start out on for those who did. In my opinion, this is just all around the best Call of Duty. And yeah, well, there you have it. That has been my top 10 Call of Duty rankings. Yeah, I hope number 6 and 7 aren't too controversial for you. Coincidence, yes, it's 6 and 7. But yeah, this has been my rankings, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you all leave a comment on what your top 10 Call of Duties of all time are, and it can be from the newer Call of Duties. It doesn't have to just be the Golden Era. I'm just personally a Golden Era fanatic. Not too much of a big fan of the newer age of Call of Duty. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and until next time, God bless and peace.